Hello, welcome to GOT, Good Old Tech. I'm Mark, and today we're going to talk about photos and smartphones. We're going to talk about the three top smartphones, Pixel, iPhone, and Samsung. I've taken photos on these. We're going to go over these photos, and it's going to be a little bit different format today. I'm going to sit down at my computer. You're going to look at my computer screen with me, and we're going to look at these photos by all three cameras, and we're going to determine which one took the best photo out of the different scenario and go from there. So sit down, grab some popcorn, look at these photos with me. So let's get right into it. As you can see here on the screen, the Z Fold, the Pixel, and the iPhone. These are the phones we're going to compare. Now, they are actually on a level playing field, even though you see here that the Z Fold has a 50 megapixel shooter, and same with the Pixel. Thing is, they process them back down to 12 megapixels. So they're all really on the same level playing field. It all boils down to processing. And as we know, the iPhone, iOS, they really know how to process their stuff. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, I'm going to do a quick comparison of the videos. I'm going to rule one out, and then we're going to compare two on each of these screens. So beginning with the Z Fold 4, we can see here we can rule this one out of this scenario as being the best photo simply because it's bleached out. Look at the tree, look at the roof. You can't see the detail like you can in the other two. So it comes down to the Pixel and the iPhone. Now the two of these, the time of day I was taking was early morning and golden hour, and you can see that in the Pixel Pro represents more of the golden hour. The iPhone brightened it up just a little bit. So you can also see in the shadows here of the Pixel, you can see all the detail. It's darkened here on the iPhone. Same with the siding. And if you look at this tree, you can't see the detail in this tree that you can see on the Pixel. So the Pixel, in my book, wins out in this one. Move on to the next photo. I zoomed in on these photos ×2 digitally. It gives us a nice even comparison. Took the photo, and as you can see, they're all pretty much the same. In my view, the Pixel is a little bit clearer because you can still see in the shadows. It's a little darker on the iPhone. The Z Fold is still bleached out, so we'll just kind of rule that out. But what you can see better in the Pixel is, look back here underneath the ATM sign, you can see the detail back there. It's just black on the iPhone. It darkened by trying to saturate the colors a little bit too much. So you lost some of the detail. So the best one out of this is the Pixel. So on this photo, I zoomed in 4 times. The Pixel has a 4 times zoom camera. So clearly it's the best. We don't really have to cover it that much. It's just clear. What I like to do is compare the two, the Z Fold and the iPhone. Look at the iPhone. I think the iPhone came out better. The wording is clearer. You can see the siding a lot better, which is just pieces of tree. Apple did much better processing, even though it doesn't have a zoom camera. Let's go to the next one. So in this road view, they're all taking it with the main camera. I think the iPhone came out a little better, especially here in the shade. You can see more detail in the road. However, when you look up here in the branches of the trees, there's more detail on the Pixel and actually the Z Fold. However, the Z Fold kind of loses a lot of detail on the road that you can see in both the Pixel and the iPhone. So it's a toss-up between the iPhone and the Pixel. The Pixel, you get more detail in the trees. The iPhone, you get more detail on the road. It's a toss-up. So in this next image of the road, I went ahead and zoomed in 3 times digital on the iPhone and also on the Pixel because neither one of them have a 3-time optical. 3-time optical on the Z Fold should have presented a clearer picture. You can see more detail in some of the logs. iPhone's kind of out of it because everything gets digitized and everything looks blurry. You see the trees here and the logs are blurry. So the iPhone, but it's between the Z Fold and the Pixel Pro. And if you look, the Z Fold smooths out the streets. So you lose a lot of detail. You can't hardly see the cracks. You see it all here in the Pixel. I actually think the Pixel beats out the Fold in this 3-time, even though it's using its main shooter. Go to the next photo. You can see that the Pixel, when you use its 4 times camera, it just blows everything out of the water. I mean, look at all the detail in the trees. Everything's just there. Detail on the ground. It just wins, hands down. So now looking at this campsite photo, here in my RV, you can see a little more detail in the Z Fold than you can in the iPhone, simply probably because it has that 50 megapixel shooter that it downgrades to the 12 megapixel. However, on the iPhone, you can see more gravel here, detail. So I kind of like that better. So it's a toss-up between the two. The iPhone seems to zoom in just a little bit more on its standard camera. And if you look here at the Pixel, I did not take a standard camera view on the Pixel, so I don't have that to compare to. Now we get to go ultra wide on all three phones. We're going to count out the Pixel right away because of the sun flare. I didn't know how to deal with the sun. I don't know why, but it just had an issue. But you can see there's a lot of good detail in it, but the sun flare kind of damaged that picture. So between the iPhone and the Z Fold. Now the Z Fold has a little bit wider shot, a little more detail in the shadows than the iPhone, but that's because it wants to lighten up the processing, which I don't really care for. You can see the sky is actually still blue in the iPhone photo, so it looks a little bit nicer to me. So for my eyes, I would go with the iPhone. I just like the way it processed the picture better. Now zooming in on the campsite, you can see here I had to do a digital zoom on the iPhone, and it seems to zoom in a little more than you're zooming on the Fold's camera. And of course, the Fold, you can see it's quite a bit clearer. So the iPhone is out of it, got a lot of pixelating in there. Fold looks good. The Pixel looks even better because it zooms in even more. You get more clarity, you get more light in the shadow. I like the zoom on the Pixel really well, but it is a toss-up between the two. The zoom cameras did well. iPhone just doesn't have a zoom. Now I've gone down to the lake where the boat dock is and taken the standard photo on all the main cameras. And you look at this, they all look really good. They're all really usable. However, when we get into the details, this is what we find. Look at the Fold. Look at the Z Fold. Look how smooth the water is. There's no detail in the water. I don't like that. That's that Samsung smoothing things out again, and it makes things a little blurry back here. Look at the Pixel. The Pixel is really good. You can see the ripples in the water, and you can see a little bit here. It does processing of the sky a lot better. And look at the pole. There's no shadowing. The pole's nice and clear. You look at the iPhone, you got a little bit of shadowing. It does processing. You don't see as much here in the detail in the trees. However, look at the water. Look at all the ripples in the water. You can see the water. It looks like water. It doesn't look like glass like you see here on the Z Fold. So Z Fold is out. I like the water look here on the iPhone the best. However, you do still get it on the Pixel, and the Pixel, you get more details in the tree. So I give it to the Pixel because of all the detail that you get. Now jumping to the ultra wide view on all the cameras where they're all using the 12 megapixel camera. We've got a similar thing going on here with the Z Fold. Again, glass, smooth. I don't like it smoothing out. Z Fold, you're out. iPhone looks really good. You can see the ripples. You can still see the ripples in the Pixel as well. You lose a lot of detail though in the trees at the back because of the darkening of the photo on the iPhone. They do process it. I remember when they didn't do it quite so much, and then the pole is dark. You lose the detail. You get all the detail here in the Pixel. So I think if you were to process things a little more, doing your own touch up, you get a little more out of it. And also right here under this dock, you see nothing. It's all dark. It's blank. You can actually see things right here. You can see the reflection in the glass, or in the water on the Pixel. I would give it to the Pixel. Now again, we're doing the zoom lens. This is what blows me away. Number one, the Pixel Pro, 4x zoom, it wins hands down. Detail, everything's there, really good. Let's jump up here to the Z Fold. It's using its 3x lens. You would think it would be really good, but no, it has to smooth out the water again. And because it did that, I think it also smoothed out everything else, and everything looks blurry. I mean, look at the canvas on this boat. There's no detail. Look at the iPhone. You can still see the detail. You see the waves in the water, okay? Even the detail back here. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand it. I give it to the iPhone. iPhone's 3x digital zoom beat the Z Fold optical zoom. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now this is a really nice view of the lake, a part of the lake anyway. And what's really nice about this, you can see that the iPhone did saturate a little more. Look at the sky. You can see a definite separation between the sky and that mountain. Definite separation between these two shorelines where they meet. Everything looks good. Of course, you also see the water. Good on you, Samsung. You can see the ripples in the water. That's really good. However, the sky is washed out quite a bit. Now, the sun is at my back and still washing out the sky. I don't understand that. You still see a little bit of separation here. This might be a little bit bleached out. The clarity is good, but the clarity on the iPhone is even better, and I like the separation. Now we go down to the Pixel. The Pixel's kind of in between, isn't it? The sky's not as blue as it is in the iPhone, but the detail is all there. and you get the ripples in the water, you got all the detail, you get the line separation there at the land. It really looks good. So it's a toss-up between the Pixel and the iPhone. I think that there is a little bit more detail in the Pixel. You might see something different, but I call it a tie, Pixel and iPhone. I'm actually not keeping track, so if you want to keep track, go for it. Moving on to the ultra wide on all the cameras. We've got the Z Fold, again, bleaching out the sky. The line separation between that mountain and the sky is just, I don't like it. And then the trees and everything. You could probably fix this with doing some editing afterwards, adding some saturation, but you shouldn't have to do that. And then you've got the iPhone, which is really good. The separation, the colors, everything, it's just beautiful. The iPhone is beautiful. Look at the Pixel. The Pixel is good. Again, it's in between the Z Fold and the iPhone, but you don't have as much of the photo because it's not quite as wide. The detail, I love the detail on this chair. You can see it's worn out. You can see the colors on it. It's just kind of bleached out here on the Pixel. So I have to give this win to the iPhone. The iPhone looks really good in this ultra wide. Now we're going with the zoom. iPhone, because it's digital, it's kind of out of it. It's not doing so well. And then the coloring is still better than the Z Fold. The Z Fold did pretty good on this one. You can see the detail and everything. So the Z Fold did beat the iPhone on this one, I think, although it's still washed out up there. I don't care for that. And then when you look at the Pixel, the detail is just really good. It's 4 times zoom, so you got a lot more zoom. The detail is it's just right there. You got artifacting going on right here around this bridge rail, so that's not good. I don't know why it's doing that when it's using this lens, but there is some artifacting going on there. Everything looks really nice and clear here on the Pixel, so the Pixel wins this. Okay, now we're going really deep into zooming just for fun. The iPhone, you know, if you had an iPhone Pro, it'd do a whole lot better and probably win a lot more of these zooming photos anyway. The most that the iPhone 12 can do is a 5 times zoom. That's the max. And you can see everything's just really pixelated. It's a good thing I didn't go 10 on it. But the Z Fold and the Pixel can go 10 by zoom, and they look pretty good. The Z Fold is passable. You still get a little bit of detail. You see the guy out here, and it's probably using its 3 times lens and zooming in a little further with it, but you got a lot of artifacting going on here. You can see kind of the glowing around the rail here. That's what they call artifacting. Doesn't look so great. But when you look at the Pixel, look at that 10 by, but the Pixel will actually go 20 zoom, where the Z Fold limits at 10. And you can actually see the guy's head here. Now, a lot of details in the tree, you know, so the Pixel wins on this 10 by zoom. Let's go on to the next photo. So here's a really good view of the lake, and I like the reflection that we're getting off that snow-capped mountain. That's Mount Shasta. In this video, you can see that the Z Fold didn't know what to do with the processing because the sun is kind of right out in front of me. So it kind of bleached everything out. It got overexposed. You got the sun filtering into the water, the rays. It doesn't know how to deal with that. However, you can see there's no shadowing in the boat like there is in the iPhone, but that doesn't really matter because of the bleaching out of the sky. Now you look at the Pixel Pro, the photo's a little bit better. It didn't get exposed quite as much as the Z Fold, but it still is a little white. But you look at the iPhone and look at all the color. Everything's been colorized really well. However, there's a lot of shading inside the boat where you can actually see the details of the boat inside the Pixel. I kind of like the Pixel, but the iPhone is very pleasing in its view. Look at that. You can even read the 5 on the back of the marina. You can't really see that on these other two, and it could be because the picture is cropped in a little more on the iPhone. I give this to the iPhone. Ultra wide. Ultra wide, we go to the Z Fold, same thing. It just kind of got bleached out because the sun is right there overhead. It didn't do too well. Go down here to the Pixel. Everything looks nice and clear. There's not a lot of shading in the boat. You can see the sticker on the back of the boat. Look at this iPhone. You can't even see that there's a sticker. You can't read the name. It shadowed too much. It overexposed it, saturated too much just to try to deal with the sunlight. So I don't think it dealt with the sunlight very well. And then of course, this is all shaded out too. So I think the Pixel wins on this one. The photo is just a whole lot clearer. You can see a whole lot more. And I think that if you were to process it post, you'd get a much better image out of the Pixel. Now we go to zoom, of course. The Pixel zoom is much better, being that 4 times, everything's clear.
But when you go look at these two, it's a toss-up. Although the iPhone, you can see there's pixelating and it kind of smoothed out the building right here on the back under the marina. You see more detail here on the Samsung, but you see more detail on the dock on the iPhone. It kind of washes out on the Z Fold, so it's a toss-up there. Although because it's digital and pixelating, you probably have to go with the Z. Now we're doing low light in my RV. Got my doggies here. Their favorite thing to do is rest on a warm blanket. So we've got here just a standard camera. They all did pretty good. For some reason, the pixel's a little darker. However, it's not pixelated. You can see pixels right here on the Samsung, on the Z Fold, and the iPhone is actually pixelating a little bit as well. You don't get that with the Pixel Pro. On this next photo, I use night mode to see if we can improve them all. And you can see on the Pixel, it didn't lighten it up too much, but you can see everything now. And the detail is there and there's no pixelating. Over here on the Z Fold, everything's lit up. Even the curtains are lit up, but you can see more detail. It looks like a clearer picture. Same with the iPhone, except for the iPhone added a lot of yellow, too much sun. So I don't really care for that yellowing of the photo, too much saturation. So my favorite in these comes between the Pixel and the Z Fold. But when we go into zooming, you're going to see that the Pixel is a lot clearer. So right here, we zoom with the night mode on. The iPhone is all pixelated because it is a digital zoom. The Z Fold is not digital zoom, but it's still kind of fuzzy, kind of blurry. It can't really get a whole lot of detail out. Or the Pixel with its 4x zoom, it does really well. It beats them both. So the Pixel has a better night mode.
Thank you for sticking with me to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please like down below and subscribe to this video and come back for more content. Appreciate you sticking with me to the end. If you haven't compared photos from different cameras before, you've got to try it. There is a difference. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless.